I'm your host, actress, comedian Shondalia White, and I can't eat shit, y'all. I can't. It's annoying. Am I a doctor? Nope. I'm just one of those women you take out to eat and can't eat anything on the menu 90% of the time. Ugh. So, if you're one of those people who annoys everyone you go out with, this podcast is for you. If you are getting a little bit older and you need to adjust that diet, this podcast is for you too, boo. And if you just are interested in me and my health and wellness journey and want to be a little bit nosy, this podcast is for you too, boo, so stay tuned. I decided to create I Can't Eat Shit podcast because I've been secretly ill for about 8 to 10 years due to gut health, stress, anxiety, allergies, everything in the above, right? And now I'm healed. I'm healed. Thank you, Jesus. I'm healed. And I want to share a little information with you to maybe help you if you are struggling from similar things or maybe just want a different way to look at your own health. This episode is about the beginning of my health and wellness journey. So let's get into it. So I've always been one of those people that is very in tune with my body. I'll have that gift, I guess, to just be in tune with my body. And if you aren't, I highly suggest that you learn how to do it because it will help you so much with your health. And if you aren't sure what I mean by that, just think about it in terms of like if you're trying to bust it down like Megan Thee Stallion and the knees ain't in, you down there and you like, okay, either the knees about to bust open or I'm going to fall to the floor, literally. Yeah. It's that. But for the rest of your body and your gut, same thing. So I have that gift to do it, and I highly suggest you get that too. Moving on. About 2014 is when I started noticing a huge shift in my health, overall health, because it started all with like sinus infections. And I've always had ear, nose, and throat problems, so I ignored it. I'm from Michigan, so I pretty much ate everything. There is no diets in Michigan. They're eating meat, cheese, and venison. That's what they're eating in Michigan. There are diets. So anyway, I don't know how it is now. But it was like that then. So by the time I moved to LA, I'm just eating whatever, and I feel like the food is better out here anyway. It's a lot easier to find healthy options, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's just stay focused, Shondalia. With that said, I started to notice I was getting sinus infections often, and my doctors did too. And they were like, okay, so stop getting sick all the time. We can't keep giving you antibiotics. They will eventually stop working. I'm like, I'm not trying to get sick. So yeah, I don't know. But they're like, but overall, you're super healthy. So I'm like, okay, what's the problem? But then I started getting sinus infections every month. And at one point, I literally had a sinus infection every month for a year straight. And I'm like, yeah, that definitely can't be right. At the same time, I started having pains in my side. And it primarily started happening after I ate where I would notice it. But then I was like, yeah, it started happening more often. I'm like, okay, that can't be right either because what is that? And then I started getting like this backwash coming from my stomach. I started getting backwash literally in my throat. It would just be sitting in my throat, and I'm like, and I was just like, all right, something has to be done. One of my homegirls was like, oh, you should go vegan. I'm like, oh, okay. And I went vegan, and guess what? A lot of stuff stopped, especially that pain in my side, but it all eventually came back. And once everything became a combo, I was like, I really got to look into this and do something about it. So I did. Since Western medicine failed me, I decided it was time for me to take a more natural approach, a holistic approach towards my healing. And that approach was a nutritionist. That was my first stop on the healing journey. And I'm so glad I was able to do it because I always wanted to go to a nutritionist, but the good ones, they don't take insurance, so it's really expensive. But I was able to finally do it. And I'm just so blessed that I was able to do that because I just knew that if my Western doctors who fail me are telling me that you're healthy, there's nothing wrong with you overall, then it has to be whatever I'm putting into my body. And even though I'm eating healthy and I'm doing this, I'm primarily vegan here and there, it wasn't working. So I'm like, okay, it has to be something very specific to the food. So nutritionist. And I'm glad I did, because that was a huge turning point for me, where I learned that I had burned the lining out of my stomach. Yeah, the lining was gone. So I had to rebuild it. And the first step towards that rebuilding was changing my diet. So when I say she changed my diet, I mean, she put me on a very strict diet, and it was like nothing at first. It was just like water, boiled chicken, and white rice, like bland, bland. Like, I went to England, bland. And my family live in England. Yes, the food is bland. It's bland. So I felt like I was there, and it wasn't good, but it was helping. And she put me on some supplements, and supplements, I mean, like really strong herbs, not herb, but herbs, and that act as medicine. And also some digestive enzymes. That's where I learned about that. And also she put me on probiotics. It was probiotics that she had me do. And it was really starting to help. But the main thing that I love was Glutagenic Powder. It's called Glutagenic Powder, and it rebuilds your stomach lining for real. And it tastes like cocoa. So it doesn't get any better than that. So that, my friends, is how I started rebuilding my stomach lining. But of course, that's not the end of the story. It's just the end of me talking about it for now. But stay tuned, and we'll get into more of this later. This segment is called There's Another Way to Do That, where I introduce you to some modified recipes that I have incorporated into my diet, and I think you might like them too. So the full cooking segment will be on TikTok or YouTube, so you can go check them out by checking out that, link in my show notes, below. Go do that to watch the whole episode and cook with me. But for now, enjoy the recipe for a brown rice and veggie bowl. It sounds so simple because it is, and it doesn't include all the additional things that you would normally get when you go to a lot of places, but it's flavorful, and I think you'll enjoy it. Go check it out. If I had any additional advice for you, it would be to please, 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 please listen to your body. Pay attention to yourself. Like, learn yourself, y'all, because if you have any issues, you don't want to ignore them. I know you've been ignoring them, but don't keep ignoring them, okay? Also, if you have recurring issues, do something about it. It's not going to go away. Make sure you figure out what's going on so you know how to deal with it, okay? Take it from me and my mistakes. Take care of your body so it can take care of you, or you're going to be dealing with a lot of shit. This has been I Can't Eat Shit Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you all. If you like what you heard or saw today, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe, and it will help me out a lot. Like, share, make a comment, do all the things. Also, check me out wherever you subscribe to your podcast and listen. Go subscribe there as well. Also, check me out on Instagram at I Can't Eat Shit Podcast or at Shondalia White. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. I Can't Eat Shit! I Can't Eat Shit Podcast is not a replacement for a medical professional. If you need help, seek out a trained medical professional, nutritionist, or therapist to help you with your specific needs.